letter from the Gantry.
Thank you, Neil. It's been a great time for the Premier League in Europe, with three of the only eight automatic qualifiers for the revamped Champions League round of 16 being English clubs, Liverpool, Arsenal and Aston Villa. I covered Arsenal's final game in that longer league section away to Girona in Spain. It was arguably the fixture out of all the simultaneous 18 games with the least jeopardy. The home team was already eliminated. Arsenal chances of failing to make the top eight were rated at 0.01%. But it was still an entertaining affair. Arsenal went behind to the first goal they conceded in open play in this season's competition. The other two had been a penalty and from a corner. That it was scored by Arnaud Danjuma added further spice, with Danjuma being a former Spurs player. Brian Heel, actually on loan from Spurs, would also have featured, but he was suspended. A former Tottenham keeper, Paulo Gazzaniga, was not fully fit, but his deputy was Pau Lopez, who spent the 2016-17 season with Arsenal's great rivals. Maybe that mini rivalry on the night kept Arsenal fully focused. Pau Lopez was beaten twice as Arsenal turned the game around before half-time and pocketed the 3 points that meant they finished third in this massive Champions League table. A Jorginho penalty was followed by 17-year-old Ethan Nwaneri taking a leaf from the Bukayo Saka playbook with his first Champions League goal. And of course he followed up the Saka style again to wrap up Arsenal's following victory, the 5-1 statement against Manchester City. That game also included a first Arsenal goal for another teenager, Miles Lewis-Skelly, who was only playing because the red card shown to him at Wolves the previous weekend was rescinded. So high praise to the Arsenal Academy for the production line. But the likes of Bukayo, Ethan and Miles will be the first to admit that they could only develop to this elite level in a squad environment, and that the vast majority of those who make up those numbers do not find a pathway to the stars. There are other routes, of course. 18-year-old Aidan Heaven, who made a Gunners first team debut this season, has just been signed by Manchester United, a second Arsenal youngster to make such a move during this campaign. Further back, look at Luke Ayling. He was on just one occasion as a youngster, a not used sub for Arsenal back in 2009. But after a long EFL career, finally made it to the Premier League at the age of 29 with Leeds United. Semi Ajayi, a four-time substitute who never got on for the Gunners, was coming up to 26 when he also reached the big time with West Bromwich Albion, and he's still at the Hawthorns. Others I've encountered on my travels never got so far. Junaid Mead made his first team debut in 2012 in a well-remembered League Cup tie at Reading, which Arsenal won 7-5 after extra time. Incidentally, the keeper playing behind Junaid, who conceded the 5, went on to become arguably the best in the world, one Emi Martinez. Junaid then started a Champions League tie against Olympiacos, but never featured again for Arsenal, nor in a later season spent with Swansea, who were also then in the Premier League. He's still playing, non-league, as he was when he turned out for Dartford a couple of years ago when I was a coach there. Jordan Winter, now of Dulwich Hamlet, was in the same Dartford team. In 2012, he was given the first team squad number at the Emirates, number 63, but that's as far as it got. Stefan O'Connor has been coaching this season at the Woking Academy. In December 2014, he came off the bench as an Arsenal substitute in the Champions League in a 4-1 win away to Galatasaray. But it was his only first-team outing. He then spent a couple of years at Newcastle United before a knee injury finished his full-time career. These are just a handful of stories, but down the years there have been dozens of ifs, buts and maybes. Arsenal fans are rightly proclaiming the youngsters who have made a splash in an excellent Champions League campaign and stood up to Manchester City as well. But in praising the very best, spare a thought for the rest.